Let's go ahead and add our second sound source because I wanted to do something with the second envelope over here at the dual envelope, and actually have a second part of this sound that I'm sort of creating here. Let's see, I think I have this CV from the sequencer going out and feeding the DSM over here. So it's actually not quantized notes going into the DSM over here at the CV input, and then the output of that is going into our second VCA right there at the blue cable. And then at the bottom, that output is going into the mixer. So now we just have to patch it so we can hear what's going on there. And taking envelope 2 and then patching into here. So now we have this kind of alternating kind of envelope. You know, envelope 1 goes on for a while, then it triggers envelope 2, then envelope 2 triggers envelope 1, and so forth. Now they kind of sound very similar. Let me turn up the noise on the DSM so you can kind of, so you'll be able to differentiate the two. And actually, let me just kind of change the sound up a little more. Not really digging that noise too much. Just add an element. Let me try that. Let's hear that. Bring the rate down a little bit. Maybe like right about there. Just very minimal. Let's try that. There we go. So now we have this kind of alternating thing going on. Now at any time, if I want to sort of break this sort of looping thing that's going on over here, I can always get a gate, like maybe take the clock out from here. That's firing an on voltage or a high voltage, however you want to say it. If I plug it into gate input here, now envelope 1 is triggering according to the clock. What's going on out here? And you can see over there our envelope is very different up there. It's quite hard to interpret, so let's see if I can adjust that. Make it a little shorter. Now this visually will probably not make a lot of sense, at least at this magnification, at the 500 milliseconds. So let me try and switch to a different magnification level that will kind of make sense. So that's a little more accurately representing what we're hearing. And now if I go in and do a little shaping, you can see that the shape of the envelope is changing there. Now if I haven't mentioned it already, you can also adjust the output level here, so if you want something a little more subtle, you can see that the amplitude of the envelope there is kind of going up and going down. There's some pretty decent controls there to do that. So rather than have to attenuate it externally with some kind of other module or attenuator or anything, you can just do that right on here. And of course you can do the same changes we did, you know, adjusting attack and decay on your second envelope. You can switch it into a different mode if you want to. Short, long, and so forth. Adjust the output level there. you saw that it kind of faded away, the second envelope. That's because the end of cycle for envelope 1 was still triggering this guy over here. And I guess the rhythmic passage that I had been kind of feeding the first envelope wasn't quite working out, so we weren't able to hear that second sound source from the DSM anymore. So that's why I had to kind of go in here and manipulate these a little bit. But now that they're around the same tempo, you can hear both of them pretty well. If I go over here and slow this down a little bit, should be able to hear both of them again. Then I can maybe, let's see, extend my envelopes a little. Not really grooving as much. It's just kind of trudging along. Let's bring up the tempo so we can get something a little bit better. Now for this, it might actually work out better. Just for an example, I'll take one of these second triggers, and I'm just arbitrarily picking 6, patching to the gate input of the second envelope. So now this gate at step 6 is triggering the second envelope. Now I have independent control of my envelopes. Okay. Cool. So we're going to pause right there for a moment, and then maybe go into another segment, so part 2 of the dual envelope, and maybe do a little bit more with it. So hopefully you'll join us for that. I hope you found this first demo kind of a little bit useful, at least getting a more hands-on and kind of, okay, this is what I'm actually doing here, and actually probably seeing the envelope up at our scope probably helped a little bit too, I think. If you haven't seen the other videos, I do encourage you to watch those, because then when you watch this demo, I'm kind of going through and then shaping, it'll make a little bit more sense. This video should actually be on the same playlist as the other videos, the profile video, and then the couple of sound videos that I have on the MST modules, the buffered mult, and the stereo out, and the dual envelope, of course, that we were actually listening to right now. So I do encourage you to watch those. Hopefully, again, you found this useful. Please stay tuned, and we will go into the next demo shortly here in part 2.